Well, this time around I'm going to be showing you guys the process of shimming up one of these Kawasaki KX450s. So this one happens to be a 2012, and the customer, he's got the both right side of the bike, the intake and the exhaust valve have tightened up quite a bit. So I got a shim kit in, and I'm going to shim it up for him, and in the process show you guys how to do it. First things first, you obviously take the seat, gas tank off, because we need to get access to the cylinder head here. The bike needs to be at top dead center on the compression stroke to check the valve clearances correctly. So I've got it set up close to, and the reason you can tell is both sets of lobes are facing away from each other. So I just use my hand to just roll the motor over to get to this point, and then you come to the top of the head here looking over. So again, this is the exhaust cam wheel, the intake. See that little punch mark right at the tip of my finger on the intake wheel? And the exhaust on these Kawasaki's, right underneath this hex bolt, there's a line. You can barely see it right now. Anyway, I need to get that line flush with the top of the cylinder head casting right here. And I also need to get this punch mark, same thing at the casting here. So when I'm this close, usually you can pull it back by hand about there. There, you can see that line a little more now. It is dead set, and the punch mark is just visible right there. Another window you can look at is down here. In this window here, move my light, is the flywheel with a tick mark on it, and you can just see the tick mark is supposed to line up with the line cut out in the threads for the plug that goes there. I overshot it a little bit, so we can roll it back some. There, that's better. You can see the line in there. I'm lined up with the threads, the cutout in the threads. Again, back to the head. There's that line underneath the bolt for the exhaust, the intake, the punch mark. Okay, so this is where we check our valve clearances from now. Okay, so next thing is to look up what clearances you're actually looking for. So if you don't have a service manual for your bike, like I don't for this customer's bike, but I mean most of the stuff is readily available online. Just quick Google search, like it's pretty easy. So I did just that. So here's the numbers we're looking for. So on the exhaust side, I'm looking for the tightest is supposed to be is 0.17 millimeters to the biggest is 0.22 millimeters. Intakes are supposed to be a little tighter, so the tightest the intake can be is 0.1, and the loosest it could be is 0.15. It's going to be talking in millimeters for the sake of like just ease. I mean, it being a Japanese bike, most of the stuff we're talking about, especially the shims, are going to be in millimeters. So, but I will keep writing the standard equivalent. Write them down so you don't forget them, and then get yourself a sheet of paper and a pen. And these are where I'm going to write what I measure here. And these are this is the main for specialty tools for this job. I mean, I wouldn't really call feeler gauges specialty tools. These things are dirt cheap. You can get them at any auto parts store, really. But this is how we check them. And a caliper is always good to have to verify the thicknesses of not only new shims, but we need to measure the shims that come out of the motorcycle. But yeah, you don't need an expensive caliper, but definitely nice to have a caliper, or if you want to go crazy, you can get a micrometer to measure them. But these are really the only two tools you need. Usually I just start with the tightest one, so I'm going to measure the exhaust first. Usually as the valves wear, they get dirt gets into the valve seat, and with the valve slamming up and down a bunch of times, well, thousands of times, the seat gets worn and the valve starts to ride up towards the head, and that's what reduces the clearance between your lobe and the bucket or the lifter. So usually I just start with the tightest allowable. So right here, I don't know if you guys can see that, I have a 0.178 millimeter or a 7 thou feeler gauge. So I'm going to start with this one. This is the tightest the exhaust is allowed to be. Come over to the exhaust here, and we're measuring. I'll measure the left first, so I try and get it in here. I bend the feeler gauge. As you can see, it's not. Oh, there it goes. on top of the bucket, and you can see it poking through the other side there. Oh, 0.178 fits, no problem, so let's go bigger. 203 or 8 thou. Keep 9 thou handy in case this one feels like it'll probably just go right through as well. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm gonna reset this, but I can't really. Yeah, there it goes. There it goes. See? Wiggle it side to side, back and forth. You can kind of walk them into position. Now let me try and get the 9 thou or the 0.229 millimeter in. The way the last one felt, I don't think I'm going to be able to get this one in. And wiggling back and forth. It's not going. Let me reset. No, I don't think it's going to go. I can't get that one in. So it's as simple as that. Write that down. So the left exhaust is in spec. 0.203 millimeters or 8 thou. Again, going back to the tightest it's allowed to be. And I'm going to try and wiggle this in. Reset. No. Okay, so this one we're going to have to adjust. So we need to go smaller. We need to figure out, in order to calculate what you need to first find the actual gaps. That was 7 thou or 0.178, so let's go to 6 thou or 0.152. There, I can get that one through, no problem. 152 millimeter or 6 thou. So again, I'm just going to go straight to the tightest, which is 0.1 millimeter. I believe this one will go through. It's right underneath and it's in the oil now on the other side of the lobe, so let's go one bigger. That one went in too easy. 5 thou right here, or 0.127. Try and wiggle it through. It's close, but I don't think it will. So that means we're somewhere, for that left intake, we were somewhere between 4 and 5 thou. Again, in metric, we're somewhere between 0.127 and 0.102. So I'm just going to call that one a point. It feels to me maybe like a 0.115. No, it feels tight. It is indeed too tight, so let's go smaller. It is 3 thou is equal to 0.76 millimeters. I got it to click. Keep wiggling, and it slid again there. There, I'm all the way through. You can just see it poking through the backside. 0.076 and 3 thou. Okay, now for the next step. Got to take out the cams and measure the existing shims in there.